It is draft week, so welcome aboard and buckle up because we have tons of Browns draft content coming at you all week long. Never miss any rumors or buzz or news out there when you are subscribed to the channel. We've got a fully loaded show for everyone today, but make sure to hit that sub button and make sure to join Chat Sports for days 1, 2, and 3 of the 2023 NFL Draft. Yours truly will be live over on our main channel, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Now, first up on today's show, I want to talk about the possibility of the Browns trading up because there has been some buzz behind this. Andrew Berry has not ruled anything out. He didn't say we will definitively be staying at pick 74. The draft is always fluid, and Andrew Berry is known to be one of the most aggressive GMs in the NFL. So if the Browns want to trade up, well, they got to move on from some of their draft picks. I think a trade up into, say, the early 60s, maybe like jumping somewhere from 12 to 17 spots, could be pick 74 plus pick 111 or pick 111 and 190, something like that. Because every single NFL draft, different draft classes require different grades, and thus it's not always the same compensation to move up in year after year. Now, I am almost certain that the Browns will trade one of their 2 third-round picks. The question is, what direction do they want to trade? Do they want to trade up, or do they want to trade back, right? Do they want to get closer to pick 55, 60-ish, somewhere in that range? Or do they want to stockpile some more picks, hopefully for 2024, and move back some spots, which they did trade back last year, so don't rule that out either. Cleveland has about 6 to 9 roster spots open up for grabs for their 53-man roster, so I don't think they want to go out and add 8 rookies. I counted this morning the roster, and I found 6 to 9 bubble up for grab spots for the 53-man roster. So you could technically, I guess, find a way to squeeze all 8 on if you look at it through the lens of they've got 9 open spots. But if they're looking at it like we have 6 open spots, do they really want to draft 8 guys and just end up potentially cutting 2, putting them on the practice squad, and then another team claims them off waivers? That's a pretty risky gamble right there. So maybe the Browns decide, hey, let's trade up. Let's consolidate some of our picks. And let's go get quality over quantity because we only have maybe 6, 7, or 8 spots open on our 53-man roster. So who are some trade-up candidates for the Browns? Zacch Pickens, a defensive tackle from South Carolina. Him and Keeanu Benton got some buzz in a recent ESPN article I'm going to show you guys. And then Jack Campbell was included in a write-up from Mary Kay at Cleveland.com as someone the Browns could trade up and target this Friday during day 2 of the NFL Draft. So be the GM for me. Would you trade up? Type T for trade or P for pass. Would you rather pick at, say, 60 overall, but you only have 5 or 6 picks in the draft? Or would you rather stay put at 74, but you have 8 picks in the draft? Chime in for me down in the comment section below. Now, here's what Todd McShay from ESPN said on the latest things he is hearing going into draft week. Okay, want some day 2 names getting buzz? Wisconsin defensive tackle Keeanu Benton, South Carolina defensive tackle Zacch Pickens, Texas A&M running back Devon Achane, North Carolina State guard Chandler Zavala, Auburn running back Tank Bigsby, and Texas linebacker DeMarvion Overshown were all mentioned to me. Now, 2 guys that I thought were pretty interesting to be included there were Pickens and Benton because the Browns need to beef up their interior defensive line. And a big-time recruit from South Carolina like Pickens, or one of the most productive players in the Big Ten for the last 3 to 4 seasons like Keeanu Benton, could be on Cleveland's radar. We're going to look at more from these guys in just a moment, but first things first, our sponsor today, Fume. Are you tired of struggling with bad habits? Cold turkey might be great for sandwiches, but there's a better way to break free from those pesky habits. And it doesn't involve weird mind voodoo or other bizarre tactics. Introducing our sponsor, Fume, an innovative, award-nominated device that helps you kick bad habits to the curb by focusing on the good parts. Scan the QR code on screen to learn more. Fume is all about embracing the natural. It's not electronic, and instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air. Best of all, it's free of harmful chemicals and packed with delicious all-natural flavors. The adjustable airflow dial and movable parts and magnetics make it perfect for fidgeting, which can help alleviate stress and anxiety while you break your habit. Now, I wasn't all that sure about Fume when we first got him here at Chat Sports, but the whole office has been pleasantly surprised by the taste, feel, and the look of Fume. Breaking a bad habit can be tough, but with Fume, it's easy, enjoyable, and even fun. With over 100,000 customers and countless success stories, there's no reason you can't be next. Start your journey towards a healthier lifestyle with the Journey Pack from Fume. Visit tryfum.com/chatsports and use code chatsports for 10% off when you purchase the Journey Pack today. That's tryfum.com/chatsports, and don't forget to use the code chatsports to get 10% off your order. That link is in the comments and the description of today's show. Here's the product. It's lightweight, it's very mobile, and great to have. So, getting back to the latest draft buzz here, specifically on maybe moving up to get one of those day two guys that's getting a lot of buzz here. This defensive tackle class is absolutely loaded. In fact, it's so great you don't even have to really move all that much up to get guys in the same tier, right? To get guys that, well, he might be a little bit better, but I don't know if he's so much better we want to move up 15 spots for and give up future draft picks. That's how loaded and deep this defensive tackle class is. So if the Browns want to just stay put at pick 74, someone this weekend that I did a lot of research on as I kind of beefed up my draft content and whatnot is Kobe Turner, the conductor, as they call him in Wake Forest. He is absolutely an athletic freak, very productive for Wake Forest, 38 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. He can step in and help immensely with Cleveland's run-stopping needs. At 6'3", 290 pounds, he's not going to be necessarily a true nose tackle, but he's got a great story and background behind him, very high character, great football IQ, and this could be someone the Browns fall in love with and don't even feel the need to trade up and get a guy like Benton or Pickens if they like Kobe Turner at 74. Now, as for Jack Campbell, he was mentioned in a Mary Kay article as a possible trade-up candidate. The 6'4", 249-pound linebacker was the 2022 Dick Butkus Award winner for the Iowa Hawkeyes last season. He was the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. He did everything for them. Now, this is, unlike the defensive tackle position, not a very good linebacker class. The guys you're finding in rounds 3 versus round 5 are drastically different. Whereas defensive tackles, rounds 3 to round 5, might not be that far off from one another. Now, Campbell, in his career for Iowa, 34 games played, 299 tackles. The productivity is there, right? He got it done. 12.5 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, and 5 interceptions. Jack Campbell was a Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year in 2022. Like I said, I think he is going to be one of those above-average starting middle linebackers for 8 to 10 seasons. That's sort of the trajectory I see him on right now, and I don't think he's going to fall to round 3. So if Cleveland looks at their linebacker room and decides, we don't feel like we have anything long-term going here, we want to say that with JOK, but he's gone 2 straight seasons with stints on IR and missing a handful of games. Maybe Campbell could be a sturdy piece in the middle of this defense the Browns think they could have for hopefully 2 contracts worth. My prediction is if the Browns want a linebacker, which I hope they do because they need one, they can't wait long, right? This is not a very good linebacker class. So if they go a different direction at pick 74 and think we'll get a linebacker at pick 99, man, the linebacker that goes at 99 or 98, for the Browns is going to be way different than Jack Campbell going at pick 60. So if Campbell begins to fall, right, and Andrew Berry loves him, but he knows it's not realistic unless he gets past this round, right, this pick. If Jack Campbell is still on the board and it's now pick 63, 64, and AB goes, well, I can jump up 10 spots, right? I can sell a future 4th-round pick and go get the center of my defense for years to come. that's really the only path I see for the Browns landing a guy like Campbell. So my preference is either trade up and go get your no-doubter guy, right? If the Browns have an A grade on this player and think he is a for sure multi-year starter and above average 1-2, might not be a Pro Bowler necessarily, but if they think he is going to be a reliable long-time NFL starter, then go up and get him, because you're not adding 8 rookies to this roster anyway, I think. Or get back, move back, and get more picks for 2024. Because I have said multiple times on this channel, the Browns next season, they're not going to be big you-know-what's in the locker room and free agency like they were this year. They will have to build their roster more through the draft in 2024 to fill holes and whatnot. So help yourself out next year when you still don't have a first-round pick, and add some more late day 2, early day 3 picks that way if you want to move back. I'd love to see the Browns either trade up and add what they think is a surefire thing, right? A blue check mark of a player, if you will, or trade back and get more picks for 2024. I really just don't want them actually to stay at 74. Go get your number 1 guy, or move back and get more picks for 2024. Now, an interesting article came out from NBC's Peter King with his new mock draft, and of course the Browns were shadow banned from it because they don't pick until 74. So he loosely connected Cody Mauch from North Dakota State to Cleveland. Now, the 6'5", 302-pound left tackle turned 24 back in January, so like a lot of prospects in late day 2, early day 3 of this draft, we still have some of the grandpas from college football who played 4, 5, 6 seasons, and you're going to get some guys who are 24, 25, even Stetson Bennett, who I think is pushing 30. Now, he had 37 career starts at left tackle as a 3-year starter. He came in 0-star recruit. He was a tight end. They tossed a bunch of weight on him, and then he was an absolute mauler of an offensive lineman. At 32 inches, though, for arm length, that's a little bit short for a real tackle in the NFL. I think Paris Johnson's at like 38 inches, so size matters, and 6 inches is a lot. And so I think he's probably going to get moved to guard at 32 inches, so why would the Browns go out and draft a guard, Peter, right? I can see both sides of this thing. One, the Browns' offensive line depth chart needs some help in the depth department. Outside of the starting 5, like if Nick Harris has to play, I don't know how to feel about that because I've never seen Nick Harris actually play much. James Hudson I still like as a swing tackle, but after that, there's a bunch of who? Huh? Never heard of him. So Cody Mauch in his career at NDSU, 91.8 career overall PFF grade. Great run blocker, 91.2, 1 sack allowed, and 847 snaps. This is 2022 stats right there. So let me know, what should the Browns do when it comes to the argument that never gets old? Best player available or drafting for need? Because Cody Mauch, let's say he is the best player available. Do you want to go that route where you are drafting a backup offensive lineman that, knock on wood, hopefully would never have to play in 2023, so you're not going to get any sort of impact from your first pick in this draft class for this upcoming season, but it could be good down the road. There are fair arguments to make on both sides. Let me know what you're thinking down below. I'm looking to the future here, and I'm thinking Jed Wills, we still have not heard word about whether or not they're going to pick up his 5th-year option. So this very well could be his last year with the Browns, and I don't think that Mauch is going to be picked to be his replacement at left tackle. But I'm looking at guys like Posick and Teller and Conklin. Petonio, he's going to fill out the rest of his contract. These are how many years they are under contract through. But Wyatt Teller is an interesting one, because last season for the right guard, it was not a great season, unfortunately. That injury he suffered in the second half of the year really took the wind out of his sails. I mean, he still finished as the 18th best guard in football, according to PFF. But for Teller's, standards, that wasn't ideal. Overall grade of 70.3. I always say add 10 to PFF grades, and that's an 80.3, and that's kind of your elementary school grading system, so a B- guard, if you will. Now, his career PFF overall grades, well, it's not going a great path for the Browns long term. You can see in 2020, when he was, according to PFF, the number 1 guard in football with a 92.2 overall grade. And then last season in 2021, or 2 seasons ago now, when the Browns extended him mid-year, they had the 5th best guard in football. Seemed like a good move at the time. Well, last season he fell to 18. So if this trend continues and he is not all that great in 2023 and he goes from 18 to say, I don't know, 25, 30, somewhere in that range, I wonder if the Browns would decide to move on from Teller and draft his replacement this year. Because if the Browns are already thinking for 2024, which they are, that's how GMs operate, well, you can save a good chunk of change if you were to move on from Teller. In fact, if they were to cut him before June 1st, so get money for free agency, 2024 cap hit $16.9 million. If you cut him, you're going to get some nice savings of $9.2 million with only a $7.6 million dead cap hit. Now, if they wait till after June 1st, which they're doing with John Johnson, for example, well, then the cap savings goes up to $14 million, and the cap hit is just 2.9. So do not rule out a Wyatt Teller release next year if he does not bounce back well this season. And if they are already preparing for a post-Teller world, maybe Cody Mauch could make some sense as, hey, we know you're not going to hopefully touch the field this season, but we'd like to have a replacement on the roster for next year so we don't have to start a rookie at right guard and we can just graduate you from 1 year as a redshirt right guard to our starting right guard next to Posick, and I guess Conklin would still be the right tackle at that point. So just like Martin Emerson last year, do not rule out a best player available pick like Cody Mauch, even if it doesn't make a lot of sense for the current team. Now, here are my guys at 74 if the Browns don't want to move up. Kobe Turner, I continue to fall more and more in love with. Tommy Adebawore from Northwestern, he was not very productive for the Wildcats, but he has all the physical tools that GMs in day 2 dream over. Zacch Pickens, I still don't have a good sense of where he goes. If he's there at 74, that pick could make a ton of sense for the Browns. Jamie Robinson out of Florida State, I've been talking about him for months at this point. If Delpit is not the guy next season and you draft Robinson, boom, you already have your replacement, and Juan Thornhill and Robinson can be your starting tandem in 2024. And then Isaiah Foskey out of Notre Dame, he had a knack for finding the quarterback. Maybe not the most bendy or athletic edge rusher in this draft class, but a very productive player for the Fighting Irish. Now that's going to do it for us on today's show. Make sure to subscribe as draft rumors continue to heat up. We're going to keep you guys in the loop here at the Cleveland Browns Report.